Hey guys, it's TRIZE here, back with Automation, the car company Tycoon game, and what you're seeing right now is one of my latest builds called the VAZ-2106 SR. Also known as the Lada 1600, this near replica of the most beloved Russian Lada has been modified to be a tad faster and more nimble. Taking about 2 days to get everything right, I think everything seems to be in order for each fixture. Whether you're looking at it from the interior or exterior, you can see how this vehicle was painstakingly put together. Just like my Toyota AE-86 build, which I did that like 7 months ago or something like that. Anyways, I'll explain the details of this car throughout this portion of the video. It has a lap time of 1 minute 48 seconds 10 milliseconds at the quote-unquote Top Gear test track and 2 minutes 56 seconds 51 milliseconds at the Automation track. It has a top speed of 100 miles per hour and a 0 to 60 in 14.2 seconds. The engine used is a modified version used in this particular model that produces 81 horsepower and 79.4 pounds-feet of torque. It has a fuel efficiency rating of 14.4 miles per gallon and weighs 2,219.6 pounds, which equals to 1,006.8 kilograms. And now, let's go over the specs of this vehicle. In terms of how I made the VAZ-2106, the panel material will be made out of regular steel with a monocoque chassis made out of regular steel. With a front longitudinal engine placement, and the front suspension uses a McPherson strut, and the rear suspension uses a simple semi-trailing arm. For the engine, it's an inline-4 engine made out of cast iron with the bore and stroke set to the real-life engine rating at 79mm and the stroke at an 80mm to get the true engine size to 1,569 cubic centimeters, which is a fairly nice number right there, folks. And we're using single overhead cam 2 valves made out of cast iron. For the bottom end, such as the balance shaft, we're required to have a harmonic damper to prevent the crankshaft from exploding, and the crank con rods and pistons pretty simple. A cast iron crankshaft, cast con rods, and cast pistons, nothing special. For the compression, it is set at its real-life compression rating of an 8.5 to 1 ratio at a normal setting, with the cam profile set to a 43, and the springs and lifters kept it as is to a 50. For the fuel system, we're using a 2-barrel carburetor with a single carb setup with a performance mid intake running on regular fuel, with the fuel mixture set to a 14.0, the ignition timing set to a 59, and the RPM limit set to the real-life redline limit of 6,000 RPM. And lastly, for the headers, all this good stuff, so we're using some tubular headers, a modification for this engine, and our only option, a single exhaust with the exhaust diameter set to 38.1mm, which that equals to 1.5 inches. And for the catalytic converter, just a 2-way cat, no first muffler, but we got a second muffler and a baffled. And real briefly, give you hear this engine right about now. It's a loud boy, alright, despite having a frickin' muffler on this thing. It's that Russian engineering, probably. Alright, for the rest of the vehicle with the drivetrain, so we're using a rear-wheel drive setup of a manual 4-speed with the top speed set to 100.4 miles per hour. Even though it can go up to 107.5, but that speed's, not so much for a car like this, a former Soviet Union car. For the tires, we're using some radial medium compound tires with the front and rear tire lift set to the real-life rating of 175mm, which I believe millimeters, front and back, running on some 13-inch steel rims. For the brakes, we're using some solid disc 1-piston brakes with the size set to 250mm, maxed out due to the complications and constraints of the front and rear rim sizes. And the rear is a drum disc, a single shoe with its size set also to 250mm. And for the aerodynamics and everything, as you can see here, we quote-unquote have a semi-clad under tray with the brake airflow set to a reasonable 15 right here. And for the interior of this vehicle, well, with this car in general, well, we do got an interior, but it's fairly basic. As you can see here, basic interior, standard 8-track. But since there's no real 8-track option, give it a freaking radio player right up in here. So yeah, pretty much run-of-the-mill basic interior, standard 8-track, even though there's no standard 8-track like I just said. So moving on to the driver aids and safety, all that good stuff. So we got ourselves some hydraulic power steering with 1960s standard safety standards, and the weight distribution put up more towards the front to combat some of the oversteer with this vehicle, even though in BeamNG, it'll probably be a different story. It's just for automation itself. So last but not least, for the suspension. So for the suspension, got ourselves some progressive springs with twin tube dampers, and our only option is some passive sway bars running on a sport preset. Despite only 3 problems with this vehicle, such as the tendency to oversteer and the front and rear dampers being too hard, let's go on over to BeamNG.drive and test this wannabe Soviet car out right now. So here we are at the map of Italy, so taking a very brief look at this vehicle here. Well, with the body styling in general, well, in automation, as you can see here with the little crevice right here, in the real life Lada cars, this is all flat in the back end, but unfortunately, with the body molding and everything, I cannot get this little crevice here to go flat for the rear and front of the vehicle. And quick question, is this supposed to be a brake light or a reflector right here? See, because some cars had this like reflector brake light thingy and some don't with this particular model of the Lada. And on a side note, I did add the freaking Lada badge here, the Lada 1600 with the fictional trim model SR for sport race thingamajig, whatever. And elsewhere, pretty much on point-ish, this vent here included. And elsewhere, pretty mostly spot on for a majority of the fixtures used in automation because, well, I was living the game of automation with the fixtures they had, so I had to deal with it no matter what. Even it took me a couple days to build this damn car. So here I am on the runway portion of the airport here, which is highly illegal in real life. And with this portion of the video, we're going to be doing our basic performance test with this here car. So the first one we're doing is a 0 to 62 acceleration test, followed by a 62 to 0 brake test, and lastly, a top speed run, with this vehicle here being 81 horsepower and weighing about a ton. I have a lot of doubts that this vehicle will reach 100 miles an hour. There could be a chance, but who knows? I may be right or I may be wrong. So right now, start with the 0 to 62 acceleration test right now. Accelerate A as we go, very slowly. We'll get to the first gear, transition to second gear, 28 miles an hour. I was saying 21, I'm pretty stupid. And 10 seconds we go. Still chugging along, going around 50-ish miles an hour, and 60, and 0 to 62 in 14.96 seconds of 776.49 feet. So a tad sort of what we got in automation. Automation at a 14.2, we got about 15 seconds. Damn, man. So brake times, it's showing 63. So let's get the down button. 62, go. Nice slidey cars. Good. 62 to 0 in 3.01 seconds of 129.53 feet. Since this car has no ABS brakes, time-wise, not a big fan of. Distance-wise, seems aight compared to the majority of other cars that I've did with the performance tests. So for the top speed run already in effect, we got a much better 0 to 62 time of 14.06 seconds of 774.85 feet. Not too bad. And also if you notice at the bottom right of your screen with the speedometer, well, this is much different than what I'm using compared to the vanilla version of the speedometer. I did download a pack recently called like custom speedometers or whatever. You get like 2 options you can choose from. This version and another one for the speedometer and turbocharger at top speed. Wait, 99 miles an hour. We can call it a pass, we can call it a fail, but good enough. We're about redlining, so full-time auto-way camera as is. There goes all the seats, the dashboards, and the wheels, and everything else compromised with this vehicle. So top speed run, should we call it a pass or a fail? Let you guys know in the comments there. It was at 99 miles an hour, and the airspeed, I meant 99 the airspeed, 100 on the wheel speed, and the rest for the speedometer, so I'll call it a pass. So for the damage of the vehicle, the extensive amount of damage, so we got the front end completely mangled up with the engine clearly exposed and not destroyed for some odd reason. We can rev this up as so. Go neutral. And just drive. Oh my god, we can drive this car. Hold on. See, we got the tires here. We got the mirror right here. We got the seat right here. We got this seat, the dashboard, that seat. The freaking pedals are right here, including the license plate for the front of the vehicle. And looking at the rear, pretty good. Look at the interior. You're dead. Real briefly, how does this vehicle drive? So, reverse. Or, what's this? Neutral drop. And freaking smokestack of exhaust. Extreme wheel spin. Go to first gear. We can't steer, but How the engine survived yet again. Well, screw that. So right now, let's take you on over to a time trial. Get that set up right now. So for time trial, which is going to be at Imola, which the full name, if I pronounce this right, is the Autodromo Internazionale Enzo e Dino Ferrari of the 2014 variant, which is 4,900 meters long. We're driving this year vehicle with 2 laps with a rolling start in the noon hours like any other video they do at the time trial runs. So take you to Imola, near the start finish line right now. So here we am, way back here where the sign that says 100 for the braking zone. So we got the sport model of the Lada with the reflector that's turned into a brake light, which I think this is a reflector, I believe. So get ready to start this bad boy up and ready, go. Well, we're going all right. So here is the front straightaway. We got the start-finish times, well, the start-finish line in yellow? I think that is yellow right there. And times are bugged out. God dang it. Normally it counts down as so, like it counts the lap as so. So coming up to our first corner, how will this perform in terms of cornering? Well, the cornering was kind of mediocre. Brake now. Pump again. I mean, cornering was mediocre. It was like swinging big time at the first corners when I first started the time trial, which was off camera. Let's see, there's the 100 sign, brake. A little bit too early in the braking, but this corner, cut down. Oh yeah, you can see some of the oversteering start to kick in right there. So that is indeed concerning. So this, sharp corner, not sharp corner, but a sweeping left turn. Yeah, that is some severe oversteer about to kick in, but luckily I had that under control. So yeah, automation was right. 175 tires front and back, even though those were the real tire width set for this type of vehicle. I probably should have put like offsetting tires, like maybe 195s in the back and kept it at 175s in the front maybe to combat some of the oversteer. But not too much where we're getting some of that understeer, which is pretty much not the best in pretty much driving like on a racetrack, driving in general, whatever, to have understeer. But oversteer is you gotta have a tolerable line between having oversteer and understeer. Understeer is borderline unacceptable. Well, oversteer, you can deal with it, but not at an unacceptable level of oversteer. So we're doing pretty good. We got this corner, which I screwed up in practice with some faster cars. Like that corner seems pretty blind. You got that flat hill and then corner, right? With chicane back there. And on top of this map here, I did download it from Kirby Guy, which he's done like some ports from Assetto Corsa from making maps like the Nürburgring, the Suzuka Circuit, and a handful of other tracks. But this is his latest, oh boy, creation is Imola, which is the port from Assetto Corsa to BeamNG.drive. And if you were to download this map, I'll link to that download page in the description below if you want to download it. So the first lap time is going to be a 2 minutes, hold on. Yeah, 2 minutes 54 seconds, 590 milliseconds. I was confused for a half second. Let's see, will it be consistent for this here lap number 2, or not? Let's see, brake here. Good, a little pump there, corner. No throttle, and cut right. That tire screamed like a woman. Well, seeing that I'm kind of disciplined driving in Gran Turismo and really been driving in BeamNG.drive, I haven't really crashed once yet with this vehicle. We'll do so after the time trial run. Really crash this bad boy out that Gran Turismo 7 can't do. And also about Gran Turismo 7, since I bought that game recently and done a couple videos on that, you may check it out with the card on the top right of your screen. From my first thoughts to the National B license test and probably some other videos later down the road. So my raw thoughts on Gran Turismo 7, well, it's not too bad of a game. Like, there's some good and there's some bad, but mostly the bad is mostly with the online and microtransactions implemented into the game. So I've seen videos online of people like making claims and criticizing the game mostly with the online features, the payout system, how people are flat out cheating in the replay system and qualifying and getting away with it. Well, I haven't personally got affected by that just yet, but seeing that it's going on, I mean, hopefully they do fix this later down the road, so I'm not going to be like really regretful pre-ordering $60 for a game. Even though, speaking of pre-ordering, I pretty much retired from pre-ordering games because a majority of games that I pre-order or get hyped about, they just suck. Even if it's the most hyped up title of all time, or if I know the game's gonna suck, like Fallout 4 or 76, Fallout 76. Since the game series has always been single player and all of a sudden they want to go multiplayer like an MMO, I knew the game was gonna suck from the beginning because, well, you're going from single player to MMO. From their marketing, the gameplay structure, the maintenance, all that good stuff, I didn't buy the game whatsoever and save my $60 because of that. So yeah, it's great, but not the greatest for most other categories it scores under. So finish time is going to be a 2 minutes, 53 seconds, 24 milliseconds, so a tad better compared to the first lap, which gets the total time of 5 minutes, 47 seconds, 613 milliseconds. That's pretty good, so free roam and crash this bad boy out. Let's just make a left-hand corner, and then it's like, oh no, I wiped out, no. And it goes all debris, the seats, the dashboards, all that good stuff, and surprisingly, none of the tires have popped out. So rear's okay, right side, you can see the banus of the tire and the suspension, the tie rod, hold on. We got the tie rod or whatever completely disassembled from the back of the vehicle right here. How about the other side? Huh, nothing. And with the left side, completely mangled up, but with this tire here, it's not as hardcore bendy as this bad boy right here, so yeah. It's still driverless, so look at here, I'm driving. And I'm steering, not steering right as I should, but steering left. You can do some don'ts with this bad boy, and that'll be it. So with the final part of the video, let's take on over to Leap of Death because, well, Russia probably deserves this. So take it there to the top right now. So here I am at the top of Leap of Death, and also about Leap of Death, finally this map has been updated a few months ago to the point where all these textures, all this good stuff is now in working condition. Unlike before, like a year ago, you had to like go to the world editor and 40 miles an hour to the world editor and to manually put the textures back in, but unfortunately I screwed up somewheres and oil starvation screwed up on my textures to the point where it looks all dark and gloomy, where I didn't even do anything like better. So 60 times slow-mo, get a camera, and get ready. Dead. There goes all the debris, all the seats, mainly the seats, the pedals, and all this good stuff, the license plate, this stuff, that stuff, over there stuff. Reset the camera, full time. And the engine is still running. Are you kidding me? The engine is still running. How about here? Not as much as I thought, or that too. So the engine still runs. Are you kidding me, mate? How about this one right about here now? It flipped over, main engine broken. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Rear left tire deflated, main engine broken, base drop right here, hit the roof, and we're about to go splash here in about 3, 2, splash. Engine's hydrolocking, it's dead for God's sake. So taking you up to some flat land right about now, so F7 this bad boy, and engine's still startable for some odd reason. I mean, I can't start it up. I killed the engine from going down this cliff face here. So the vehicle being all steel with the chassis and panel material, we still got the brake lights right here, which I stopped the tires. And elsewhere, completely unrecognizable. This transmission has become a paper-sized, a paper whip shank or something. So if I flip this upright, oh, god damn, this thing is completely mangled up. You see the underneath of the car? The regular side is completely destroyed. Alright, for the final part of the video, so I'm about to be driving straight down as fast as I can, like down these series of hills or whatever, so if I'm about to crash out or flip over or do something stupid, I'll freeze physics and I'll spawn myself at like this top of the cliff face and see if I can land back at this crater here from where I'm driving. So let's unfreeze physics and get ready to go with this bad boy right now. So let's see, how fast might be going? How fast will I go before I flip over? I'm about to crash out or something stupid. Is it downhill? Keep on going. And keep on going. Still keep on going and stop. 43 miles an hour. So take you to the top of this here cliff face right now. So here is the car, 43 miles an hour to pull its own Soviet Dukes of Hazzard and dismount, and we're flipped over already and really off-centered. Oh boy. So let's slow this down for the first initial hit. 4 times, high DUI, side impact, go. There goes all the seats, all that junk, all that good stuff, and just roll it all the way. Real time, 2 tires missing. This could be a bad hit. That missed it. Oh boy, and the bridge, the Terabithia, which caused the engine to break apart. And on top of that, we're going way out center, but there's a chance we may stay on course, but this is going to be a real killer right there. So it's way down, going pinballing off of those little hills and crevices and all good stuff, and there goes the seat right there. There's a slim chance we're going to get to the very, very bottom of the crater, so I might have to do some node grabber. So right here, we always get stuck here. And yep, we're about to be stuck, so might use node grabber, stand by. Yeah, we're stuck. So node grabber, backs this bad boy out, get ready to yeet this bad boy if I can find a node. Alright, 100% strength. 3, 2, 1, go. Fair enough, some damage, but it was already damaged to begin with. It's destroyed, throw it in the garbage, throw it somewheres that it pretty much shouldn't see second light. And we're flipped over, and just going ninjutsu, doing all that weird stuff like BeamNG does, with automation of BeamNG vehicles and all that good stuff. So the extent of the damage of this vehicle completely mangled it up just like the first one, but even worse in terms of the structural integrity of the vehicle, basically about the same. It's messed up because it's all made out of steel, and it's completely recognizable, also thanks to it being made out of steel. So that'll do it with automation and BeamNG.drive with the VAZ-2106 SR. With this quote-unquote sport model of the Lada, it's a bit faster than the original one, even though this engine produces 6 more horsepower than the stock ones. In terms of building this car, I think this was more easier compared to the Toyota Corolla AE-86, where it had lots of body molding, fixtures, and everything to make up that car. And for those who are interested in this type of content, please be sure to like and subscribe so you won't miss out on any videos like this in the future. And also check out my social media down in the description below. So this is TRIZE Rising Up, and signing out.